Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This video is the continuation of the Elementor widget development series that I have previously started. So I got some requests from you guys to do certain things with this series. So I decided to do so. And today we are going to learn how to create a logo carousel in Elementor. This video will be divided into two parts. So let's get started. Alright, so in order to create a logo carousel, we need a slider library, and for this I'm going to use the Owl Carousel version 2, as it is very familiar and well used carousel. So I'm gonna use it because it does have a lot of cool options as well. So that will be helpful to show you what are the possibilities to can be done with the Elementor. So that is why I used it, and it is very straightforward. So I just downloaded it from here and already configured it into the plugin, so we can get started with the main thing that we are here to learn. So let's go back to the code editor, and let me show you first the structure that I have gone through. So let's close those things. Alright, so I put everything into the assets folder and created another folder and named it vendor, and within that there is another folder called owl-carousel, and within it CSS folder and the JS folder. So inside the JS folder I kept the owl.carousel .min.js file. That was the JS file or the main library file of the carousel, owl carousel. And in the CSS folder I used these two files, the minified version of the CSS and the default themes minified version of the CSS. And these are the files that I gonna need in order to create the carousel with the Owl Carousel library. And then what I did is into the main plugin file, my Elementor widget.php, and I included those files here. As you can see, just registered two styles and the scripts, and finally we just enqueue two styles and the scripts. Alright, so this is the library configuration in order to get started. And another thing that I did is created the file name logocarousel.php. So let's open it, and I just put the basic structure that we are going to need. So I just changed the class name and initialized here, and the basic stuffs that we're gonna need: the ID, the title, the scripts that we're gonna need in future, and the icon, and the category that we do have the custom category of our plugin, so we can put it here. And the rest of the things are staying empty, so we are gonna fill up with our codes here. Before further ado, let's start our grunt here, because we are using grunt, so we need to run the grunt command. So grunt default. Alright, so it is running. Now if we go to the front end and hit refresh, we should see our logo carousel widget into our category. So let's go there. Alright, as you can see, this is the logo carousel, but if we drag it, let's get a place here, and if we just click on the plus icon and drag our carousel, as you can see, nothing is happening because there is nothing actually. Okay, so let's get started with the main thing. Let's close this down. Alright, so in order to let's put some code in the render method so we can actually view something. Alright, so let's expand it, and here what we will do, we will just go into the Owl Carousel and let's click on the demos, and let's click on the basic, and we will have some the basic structure of the Owl Carousel. So you can just grab it from here and let's open the PHP tag, close the PHP tag and open it, and let's put those code here, do some indentation. We might not need this too. Let's just keep the 6 of it. Alright. So this is the markup that we need, but alongside we need some scripts as well. So this is the script that we are going to use. This is the jQuery script for initializing the owl carousel. So let's go back into our script now. So we are in the source and public.js. So let's do a comment here, logo carousel, and place it here. Now before that I think I need to explain something, that if I put any JS here, we can talk through to this logo carousel.php, but how? Because we do not initialize it, or we do not visually initialize it anything, because this method get script depends. So here we actually said that our script dependency name is my EW script. So this is the ID of the script that we mentioned actually here. See, my new script, and this one is actually the public.main.js that was generated into the dist folder. So that is why if we write anything in the public.js, we can talk through into the logo carousel.php or the vice versa. Alright, so this is the JavaScript code, or I should say jQuery code, we need to activate our plugin. So this is the owl carousel barebone structure, and we are using the owl carousel class here in order to initialize this carousel. Okay, so let's go back into the front end, and let's try to it is already updated, so let's try to hit refresh. Alright, so as you can see, you cannot see anything here, but if I go to the view, I can see something happening here, and it is actually working. See, this is the carousel slides that we added. This is the navigation, this is the dots. Alright, so it is actually working in the front end but not in the editor. So don't worry about it, we will fix it later. But the first step, that we want to initialize the owl carousel in our Elementor editor as a logo carousel, so it worked in some way. Alright, so let's go back into the code editor now. Now let's focus on make those contents dynamic. So this is our first focus. So we're gonna add some controls into the Elementor as before, and we will make this static content dynamic using Elementor controls. But before that, let's add a what you can say, let's add a custom class here, logo carousel. Alright, and let's use this one rather than our cursor. So it should work as before, and it is working. Alright, so let's check if our script is running. Yes, it is running. Alright, so the first thing we need, actually we need two settings panels, one for the slider contents and another for the whole slider. So let's begin with those things. So let's begin with the content settings part. So let's go into the register controls, and so I'm just copying and pasting from my code repo so that it's gonna be faster. Alright, and we need a end statement in order to close a section. So this is the content settings section, and we also need another one for this, and this will be the slider settings. So let's say slider settings here and the slider settings here. Alright, so if we go into the backend, into the Elementor and hit refresh, then we should see two settings panel. One is content settings and another is slider settings. Alright, cool. Now let's add the repeater control in order to add the slides dynamically. Alright, so here. So let's initialize the repeater, or let's say slider repeater, and sorry, EP8 here, and it is the new Elementor repeater class. Alright, so with this, what we need first, we need a for the labeling we're gonna use a text control. So repeater add control, and here we will say slider title, and then we are gonna pass an array where we are gonna say label, and for the label we are gonna use the title and the our plugin domain. So it is my Elementor widget. Alright, and then the type Elementor controls manager, and this is the text control. So, and the default, let's put like slider title #1 and the my Elementor widget, and let's say label block true. Alright, so this is the slider title, and let's copy the code actually for not writing, and let's focus on the development part. So this one is the for the slider image, and same thing, this is the slider image, and the, this is actually the media control for uploading the image. And if there is no image, then we gonna fetch the default URL from the get placeholder image src. Alright, so let's see into the front end what happens. If we hit refresh, okay, nothing is showing. Let's see what happens. Oh, I forgot to add another thing, and that is the main actual repeater field. These are the repeater inside fields, and this is the repeater field. Okay, so this is the control manager repeater, and this is the name of the repeater field slider, and by this we are getting the controls that we have added here by repeater object, and the default is the slider title, and the title field is the slider title, that means this one. Alright, so let's see now. If we hit refresh, okay, now as you can see, the repeater field with the slider items has been added. So if you click on that, there is a title and there is an image. We can add multiple, so we can just change from 1 to 2. Let's add some more for using into the for the future use. So let's click on 5 and let's do another. Alright, so we have added 6 items, so let's hit update. So it's not gonna reflect here, it is we are just saving the value into the controllers for now. Alright, so our value is saving nicely. So yeah, now the next thing is to implement those field values into our code. So let's go here, and we can safely remove those things. And actually we do not need this h4 because we are going to use an image here. So in the render, how we will grab this value, like settings, and we can get this get settings for display method to grab those values. Get settings for display. Alright, now we do have everything into the settings variable. Now what we will do, we will loop through these slider items and show those slider items into our carousel. So let's do that. So let's do for each settings, and remember our repeater ID was this slider, this one. So we'll use this slider. So adds slide. Okay, we are using the PHP shorthand here. So we are in for each. Now we are going to look through these items. So here we want to print the image only. Alright, and maybe the edit sorry, not edit here, actually alter text. Alright, so here we'll print the source URL of the image. So we're gonna use echo esc URL. We are skipping the URLs, always do skipping. So this time we're gonna grab the slide from here, and our key is the slider image. And as we all know, after that for image we do have another key, and that is the URL. Alright, so for the alter text we can use the title text. So we can say ESCATTRE. So and the slide, and we can do the slider title. Okay, I'm getting those IDs from these things, as you already know if you follow along this series. If you don't, please do see those videos, because this one is more advanced. So you need to see the previous videos in order to get familiar with this. Alright, so this should be it in order to looping through those items. So let's see what happens. But in the editor area you might not see any changes because it is not reflecting on the editor, but we will fix it later. So let's view on the front end panel. As you can see, the default images are showing. It is showing 5 images because for the responsiveness we have used 5. Let's use 4 actually, so we can navigate into more things. As you can see, 4 images, and we can slide through it. We can add let's just click on that, it will change. So these values actually right now coming from these options. So our value is actually reflecting. Alright, so the next thing I'll do is to add some quick settings, like loop, margin, navigation, let's say dots. We can also add dots to true, right? And I always like to have a space between those things. So let's add those settings in order to use it later, because we're gonna need it later. Okay, so let's finish up with the Elementor control panels, and then we will fix those front-end issues and the slider issues, and how we can grab the value from the PHP to the JavaScript. So we will deal with the later, but let's finish up with the Elementor editor. Okay, so let's go back here and add some code here. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab the code. Okay, so this is for the loop, and we are using the switcher control here, and the default value is true and the return value is true. Alright, so let's add another one for the showing dots. Dot means I think you already know, these are the dots. So this is also the same, we are by default we are showing it. And let's do another one for the nabs. This is also by default true, we are doing it, or we are displaying it as their default. And finally we are using the margin. So by default the value is 10, so that means the gap between the two slides, this gap I'm talking about, is 10 pixel. So we can also change this from the Elementor. So let's go back and hit refresh. Alright, so if we click on the slider settings, as you can see, all those values are coming here. So let's check that whether those values are working or not. I'm just checking on the Elementor side end, so there will be no reflection because we do not implement it anywhere. Okay, so the value is working. So far so good. So till now what we have done, let's do a recap. We actually implemented our owl carousel into our plugin. We added the plugin code here. We added the controls over the Elementor controls, and we grabbed the values, and we use these content settings values into our render function in order to make those things dynamic, and those values are actually reflecting on the very front end. So nice progress. So for this part of this video, I'm gonna stop here. Into the next video I will show you how you can actually fix the issue of this Elementor editor of this owl carousel, that why this is not appearing, and how you can appear it, and from these values or from these settings, when this settings changes, how those values can pass through this JavaScript file and do some impact into these codes. So see you in the next video.